Welcome! I am the KnK, and this is my Quickie review for the remake of Resident Evil 2 for PlayStation 4. Resident Evil 2 was my favorite game on the PlayStation 1. It was the first survival horror game I've ever played. It was fun, I enjoyed it, there were some frustrating parts. Overall, it's a game that I've played through at this time 57 times. I enjoyed it a lot. When Resident Evil Remake came out, I was floored with how impressive that game was, especially since, I guess because I played Resident Evil 2 first, I didn't think the first game was all that great to begin with, but it had some good moments, and I can see why it started a series that became popular. After the Resident Evil Remake came out, I had been waiting for Resident Evil 2 to get a remake because I really wanted to see what they could do, given the graphical capabilities that Remake possessed. And Remake had such a lot of great attention to detail and new ideas like what they did with the shark, the snake, Plant 42, and so forth. So I really wanted to see that in Resident Evil 2. Then Resident Evil kind of evolved in this fully action-packed series that kind of started with Resident Evil 3 and just kept on getting worse and worse from there. So I figured the chances of getting a proper remake for Resident Evil 2 would never happen. Then it was revealed, and here we are with Resident Evil 2 Remake, which is phenomenal. I have already gone through the game 5 times. I've played Claire A twice, Claire B once, Leon A and Leon B once each, and I've had a blast. It's been enjoyable, it's been fun, it's suspenseful, it has tense moments. You really do have to manage your inventory. Well, do I want to use these guns now, or do I want to save them? Do I want to save this for the boss? Do I want to use that herb now because I'm kind of low on health? Or should I wait to find another herb? Maybe I'll find a red herb along the way that I can mix with this instead of using it now. There's a lot of management going on, and it's a blast. You start out with 8 slots, so you can get more side packs that help increase your slot capabilities as you go through. You don't have to take them if you don't want to. If you want to play it just like the old style where you only have 8 slots and nothing more, you can do that. I personally like to be able to pick up more items, especially because when you add upgrades to your regular items, they start to take up more slots. The game's fun, the zombies are intense, they can be troublesome. My favorite thing to do is to shoot their legs off and then knife them to death. That's like the best strategy I found for zombies. Plus, then you're not spending like 20 bullets just trying to kill one zombie, because you're always missing at times because the zombie will be like this, and you have the reticle. The reticle will be like, okay, I'm going to shoot him now, and the zombie goes, blah, as you shoot. And there you go. You have just wasted a bullet, which is quite annoying. So shooting him in the legs, taking the legs out, and then going is quite satisfying. The boss battles are pretty cool. There's one boss battle in particular that I really like because it has some environmental attacks. I haven't actually shot him enough to see if you can just beat him outright without using the environment. So if you can't, that might be kind of lame for the people that just want to pow pow pow. I think it's great though. In fact, you can technically get away without firing a single bullet in that boss battle. So you don't need to worry about, oh man, I don't have that much bullets left. Am I really going to be able to beat this? If that's the case, just pretty much do circles around him and hit him with the environmental item and you'll be good. There's a lot of cool stuff. If you've played the original, you know about the alligator. That I loved in this. And other surprises. There's a couple of frustrations though with this game. Mr. X in particular, especially on your first playthrough. The other playthroughs you do, you learn and figure out how to work with him and against him, so that he doesn't become as much of an annoying factor. But my first playthrough, I absolutely hated him. Like, I hid in a closet for, I think, 25 minutes, hoping he would go away, and he never did. The story's really good. There is one big frustrating factor though, because if you played the original game, you'll recall that scenario B, second scenario, was what the other character was doing at the exact same time as that game that you were playing with game A. And you had some different bosses and some different things going on, where it felt like they were two people doing two separate things at the same time. Sometimes if you left an item in game A, you'd pick it up in game B. Here, each character, even though it's on their viewpoint, it's kind of like it's their game just in that second scenario, and that some of the stuff that occurred in the other game is loosely happening in this one. The bosses are pretty much the same between the two games, except for Leon has his own first final boss, Claire has her own first final boss, and then in scenario 2, you have a final jump scare final boss, which is not a spoiler. If you have actually played Resident Evil 2, you already know that to be the case. The lighting is well done. Like when you're going through an area and the lights are out and all you have is your flashlight, you're like, oh man, what's coming around the corner? What's that? What's that? You're just walking around slowly like, what's going on? What's going on?
You bastard.
There's a little collectibles that go on, which is kind of cool, I guess. You get an infinite knife out of it, which, if you're like me, you're a dummy, because the first thing I did with my infinite knife, since the knives are temporary, cannot be used the entire game, they break after time. So what did I do with my infinite knife? The first zombie I encountered, crack, stabbed it right into the zombie. Was like, oh crap, why did I just do that? Because now I have to fully shoot the zombie dead to get my knife back. Shoot. So yeah, don't make that mistake. Do not make that mistake. The voice acting is much better than the original, although I kind of miss Allison Court's voice for Claire. It was cool back in the 90s. You're like, hey, Jubilee from X-Men is Claire. This is so cool. So that's the voice ingrained in me for Claire. Recently, Capcom changed it. I don't understand why they did, though, which kind of stings. But the new girl they've got, she does a pretty good job at being Claire. I feel like she is a character. It feels good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I like Allison Court. Leon's pretty good, too. Much better than the original voice for Leon.
What the hell was...
Just get up here. Can't say I didn't warn you.
You said the virus turned people into monsters, not reptiles.
Fair point.
I like what they've done with Ada in this one. Sherry's more intelligent. Actually, I kind of like what they did with Brian Irons. There are just little quirks in the game that annoy me. Like, one thing that to me was the highlight of the original game was this nice cinematic backstory of what exactly went down. And in this game, they basically just do that story by found footage videotapes you find in a couple areas, which just doesn't have the same effect. It was much more cinematic the way it was before, and that was ultimately the reason why I would replay the game so many times over back in the 90s, because there was no internet to just go online to watch the cutscene over and over and over and over. You had to play the whole game to get that cutscene. Or you could just save your game at the spot before the cutscene comes up, and yeah, there was that option, which for some reason I never actually did that. Well, I did that twice. But still, when you wanted to see a cutscene, you had to work to get to that cutscene. Like I said, there was no just, okay, I'm going to go on YouTube and watch this cutscene. Click. Awesome. I love this cutscene. No, you had to actually play the game. So, Resident Evil 2 Remake, despite its little nitpicks, I am giving it a full 10 out of 10. An amazing game, so good. I'm looking forward to seeing what the free DLC coming out is. And if you have not played the game, if you're a Resident Evil fan, you must check it out. This game came out in January and it's already one of the top games of the year. And given that Metroid Prime 4 was just delayed, this may be my favorite game of 2019. Because I don't know what else is really coming out this year that I care about. Anyway, what's your favorite Resident Evil game? What's your favorite Resident Evil adventure? Do you like the movies? Do you prefer the games? Are you a purist? Do you only like the newer games? Do you like the old games? Do you think it should have only stayed in the classic style? Whatever. Let me know, and until next time, bye.